I know this monitor is a little bit small, but what I'm going to do is go through a calibration. I would have done this before we started because it can take a minute, but he needed to be hooked up in order to go through that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a handshake between the device and his body. So this is where we're developing that relationship between what his body's going to tell the software it needs. So that's what's going on with this process right now. And it can take a couple of minutes. How many of you are familiar with some form of biofeedback? Oh, awesome. If you have questions, throw them at me. So definitely okay with that. Yeah.
Dr. Black, does
Yes.
everybody have their own signature, electronic signature?
Yes, and that comes from your name, the time of when you were born, and the location that you were born. So with the demographics, when we put that information in, and we already did that with John previously, so we could go a little bit faster in the presentation this evening. But everybody has a unique energetic signature for themselves, and that's what this is in alignment with. So that's what the calibration process goes through. And right now we've got him at 95% with connection, direct connect. And I always try to go with 95 to 100. If this would have said his calibration's reflecting, let's say 89, I would run it again to get a better calibration between him and the device. And when we do the calibration, what this automatically does is it will go through correcting any geopathic anomalies that are affecting the body, which is really great because we're all subject to that all day, every day. So this is going to be the main matrix where we go through and actually, now that we're calibrated in with him, we're going to test what is the body indicating it needs in this present moment. So this is real time. It's not going to say, hey, this happened 5 years ago and look at that. It's going to say, this is priority now. This is what needs to be addressed now. And then we can like titrate down at another time after we get through certain parameters where the body's asking for something more specific in this moment that it needs. And that's what we're doing right now, is going through that test. What we're also going to do is take a look at his bar hope scores. So that's going to be his voltage, his amperage, his resistance, his oxidation, his electrons, and his protons. So basically, after you go through a lot of these energetic corrections, bringing the body back into homeostasis, these numbers improve. And so that's what you want when you're dealing with the body electric, and how certain stressors in life, based on what we're exposed to, things that happen, other things that we might be going through, when those things are taken out of homeostasis, that's when we end up with different types of disease factors. And we all know that stress is a huge piece, regardless of the source of stress, that takes us into that long term if we don't have these corrections made. So we're still going through the test process. It'll probably take about another couple of minutes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do these cell towers have anything to do with that?
With the device?
Or
This?
with your stress.
If you're
Yeah.
stressed
Yes,
Absolutely.
because they create radiation.
Yeah.
Yes, so, and actually this can reflect where radiation's affecting you. It will show up, okay, there's too much radiation going on right now. And initially, that's where correcting ththose geopathic stress parameters were indicated, and it does that right out the gate. Because those stress, those
Would you
towers.
see an immediate change if say he picked up his phone?
While we're running
Yeah,
the
while you're
system, I don't have him hooked up to anything electronic while we're running it. Now, is it going to clear out the field, the electromagnetic field of what's affecting him and what he's been exposed to? Yes. But as soon as he reintroduces that, by exposure, because he's picking up his phone or he's going about his life, is that going to affect him again and maybe over time throw him back out of balance? Yes, but we can correct that and bring him back into balance by cleaning up the field again. Definitely. And making sure that the body's resilient to these stress parameters, regardless of where they're coming from, is going to be something that this will hone in on. And it can say, hey, your electrolyte balance is off. Let's just say, for an example, let's bring that energetically back into balance What do you need? What do we need to energetically create a foundation for? So you're setting up the foundation for being more resilient to these external factors that are coming in. Then you can also talk about physically, lifestyle, what can be adjusted, right? So I'm going to go into, for simplicity for you guys, a risk profile panel here. So for him, his top 5 are going to be hydration, and I'm going to click on that. Radiation's actually showing up as his second. Environmental, lymphatic, and bone. Hey, there's your bone. Speaking of, so yeah, he's the bone guy. So we're going to treat these areas, and what that means is we're going to give him the energetic boost that his body's asking for to deal with these top 5 indicators that his body is saying are on his radar, or on its radar, I should say.
Mike in the back room has a question.
Yes.
I'm dying to hear his question.
So,
Yeah.
I think I know what this system's called. Is this New Vision?
No.
Oh, it's not New Vision. Okay, wow.
No, this is actually eductor. And so there's a couple of different models with quantum biofeedback. You've got the CEO, the eductor, the indigo. There's a couple of versions of like the eductor. This is the eductor version.
Okay, yeah, we use the program, the New Vision program. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
So that looks like
Yeah.
a little bit different.
There's some amazing technologies out that do incredible stuff. So like the muscle re-education.
It's been around for hundreds of years.
Well,
Used by the government. And they wanted to kind of
yeah. So here what we can also do, for example, is take a look at, oriental herbs that can be of help, minerals, amino acids, aromatherapy. Now here on the bottom, and I know you guys can't see this probably from where you are, but it says, EMF. And I'm going to go there because we're all affected and can relate to what that is, right? So it's going to show me his top is being, it's 5th generation mobile networks, right? So we want to, address that. And we're going to bring those numbers down so his body's not battling, having to take energetic reserves to deal with that exposure. It frees up his availability energetically to be healthier in other areas where his body can be more resilient to life itself in whichever way it's showing up for him. Mm-hmm. Questions? Anyone?
How often do you have to be put back into balance?
It's different for everyone, and that's actually a question we can ask sometimes depending on what somebody's dealing with. For example, if somebody's going through cancer, it could be twice a week, right? Because they're really dealing with an extreme situation. If it's somebody who had an injury, they fell, it could be every 2 weeks. It could be every month. We can ask that question in the subconscious. The body's going to let us know, hey, I'm going to need another adjustment or a boost or something to keep me steady in a couple of weeks. Now, I also tell people this is just something general where they like to come in and say, hey, could you just give me a boost? I want to make sure that, I'm doing the best I can. Give it 2 weeks because, again, we're dealing with the body electric. What I mean, if you think about that, is like the nervous system. And when you're dealing with the energetics, the body has to calibrate to that energetic change. So you're cleaning up and you're reintroducing a higher frequency, and the body needs time to adjust, calibrate, integrate that energy. And so too much of a good thing isn't always a good thing. So give yourself in general, at least 2 to 3 weeks to let the body integrate that higher frequency, which brings your optimal health levels up in whatever way that might be for you. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So here I'm also going to go through, and I'm going to share what it shows.
Yeah, by all means.
This is called what is the virtual doctor check. And so basically it's going to say, okay, this is where I need focus right now with what we're doing today. And for him, it's going to say, primary causes and solutions and secondary. So on the primary, it's asking him to do exercise and yoga. And it's also asking him to address gut health. So we want to train bioflora, and we can do that energetically. And then I could say, hey, John, maybe use a probiotic or other, different things like that. So we're working with the energetics and the physical, like lifestyle behavior, right? So on secondary solutions, causes and solutions, stress is coming up, and then it's recommending, hey, herbal therapy could be a good thing for you.
Right, Louis? Herbal therapy?
That's all I know. Teas though. Come on.
Yeah, it's a tea. It's a tea,
And
I
then-
understand.
And then what we're going to do here basically is we're going to train, which means address the energies that are out of balance pertaining to what this is indicating, and let his body calibrate out what it doesn't need, and then kind of bring the stress parameters down. This can be used for muscle re-education. It can be used for nutritional deficiencies in terms of refortifying the body energetically. If you've got specific organ system concerns, it can be used to support that. This thing can do quite a few things pertaining to different patterns in the body and bringing stress down to where it's natural intelligence can operate in a way where the body can heal itself if we just get the energetic disruptions out of the way. This is what we want to use to figure out where those disruptions lie and work with those energetic disconnect. So I'm going to go over to the spinal program.
Have you guys tried this on kids?
Yes.
Like ADHD?
This is great for anxiety, ADHD, autism. Yeah.
And when would you see like a nice improvement on the kids?
Immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
What is it that's showing up that's showing ADHD or autism or anxiety?
Well, if you already know that that's what you're dealing with, you can go in and ask the device to go. So, for example, I'll just put in stress parameter here since we're on the topic. I can put on the search the main matrix here stress, since that showed up for him. And it's going to go through and it's going to show me certain things that will help him with reducing stress. So, for example, right here it's saying celery to restore, which is good. But what I can do is then entrain the frequency of the celery for him.
I can skip my celery.
Yeah. And work on the energetics behind that. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to, again, go back to the bar hope score that I initially spoke about at the beginning and raising those numbers up, because we definitely always want voltage, amperage, resistance, hydrogen, your oxygen, you want these things higher. So anything that we work on in a typical session can go for an hour, depending on what you're dealing with. It can go longer than that. It all depends on what the body's available to receive too. This will tell me, hey, when the body's had enough therapy, stop the therapy. The body will say, hey, enough today. I need to work with this, and then I can say, well, when's a good time to revisit? And that could be in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It could be, twice a week. It's different for everyone. So when it comes to the spinal program, this is a real important program I'd like to show you guys, because a lot of people have back pain. They deal with, energetic disruptions in the spine, particularly as we get older. And what this does is it checks and trains the cervical, the thoracic, the lumbar, the cranial sacral, and it opens up the energetic flow. And whenever you've got the energetic flow in your spine moving, that's when you're going to have the nervous system working more at its optimal rate, and the signals between the brain, the nervous system, and the organ systems working more harmoniously. It's really important.
So does it have a hard time if there's been a fusion in the vertebrae?
It will indicate that.
It will.
Yes. Have you had a fusion? Yeah. It will still work for you, but that's going to be something where that energetic is going to have a little bit of an obstruction there. It will pick that up, but it's going to work around that to bring up the flow through the rest of the spine. Mm-hmm.
Tell them about the OsteoStrong benefits.
So where this is going to be really helpful pertaining to bone health is it increases the lymphatics flow for nutrient and clearing out also toxins. It helps with circulation, and anytime you have circulation, you're going to have more nutrients into the bone, which gives you better bone health. Particularly when it comes to calcium absorption, minerals, your minerals are going to be what build the bone. So when you've got the energetics working in your body is going to be able to assimilate and put nutrients where it needs to for better health and particularly for bone health.
Perfect. So far,
What this also does, go ahead. Yes.
Wanted to ask, is it also for like brain balance as far as like oxytocin, serotonin?
Definitely. Yes. The brain balancing on here is really good. We have a lot of specific programs, therapies specific for that.
I had it done years ago,
Mhm.
in my 20s. I'm in my 50s now, and the assistant knew I didn't have it right over it. I didn't have to say nothing about my medical history. It knew. It was so fascinating.
Yeah. Because your body told the system,
It was fascinating.
and it will pick that up.
The person I went to, they also were treating like 60 kids a week of the state that had severe PTSD, veterans, who had PTSD. So it's pretty fascinating.
This is really great for PTSD because it really brings down the anxiety and it works on the triggers. And what you can also do in these types of situations and how it affects the physiology of the body also is figure out where these patterns keep looping, what the triggers are, and you can work with decoding the intensity behind that to where over time you neutralize it and you can repattern new neural networks to where that doesn't even play a role in the person's life anymore and helping them overcome where that originated from to bring their body back into its original signature and that template. So thank you for sharing that. It's really powerful for that. That's actually how I got into this.
We have family members with PTSD, and we're carrying that PTSD with them. So like it's, it trickles into
It does. And you can work on the field with other people whenever you're either in a genetic line or exposed to people in the energetic field. That can all be cleared up with this too, particularly with the NLP programs on here, and really get into the deeper layers of the work it offers when dealing with really sensitive situations like that, because it can take some time, but it's definitely doable. Yeah, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
What's the youngest, age-wise that you've used this on a person?
Personally, probably under 5.
Yeah, because we have a great-grandson, and his grandmother thinks that he has autism, but she's not sure.
Okay, she hadn't evaluated.
She says she thinks that he's borderline because of the way he responds to things.
Well, this
So
could,
could she take him to something like this?
and it'll come up as a
But he's
marker.
only
she could possibly do it remotely for him.
It'll come up as a marker.
He's only 3 years old.
That's okay. That's pretty much when you start to see the signs of, maybe want to check into what that looks like based on the development and where he should be and maybe where he is. Actually, I would go ahead and start now, piece 3.
Yeah.
I would go ahead and start that process. So you can do interventions along the way that start to get him to integrate maybe where he's not. So things start to evolve. Yeah, definitely on the development. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Yes,
Is this working on him right now?
it is real
Oh yeah,
time.
live.
And do you feel anything?
I feel pretty good.
Tell him how you felt after your other
It's
session.
probably how I'm going to feel after I get done with this. Is feel like I mean, you guys all know I have energy, right? You guys all, and nobody can argue that. Nobody's going to argue that I don't have any energy. I had more when I got done the first time, and Angel can verify that. I was literally floating on a cloud. I felt really, really good. It's kind of like a reboot. And this is something that the August issue of Vegas Wellness Magazine will have my article about this, and I talk about that. I felt like I was rebooted. There's really no better way to explain it. We've all shut off our computer or our phone to kind of reset the apps or reset what was going on our phone. And as soon as you pull your phone back up, it works. Everything works fine, and it's nice and fast, and it's quick. That's exactly what I felt like. There's no other way to explain it.
It relaxes the nervous system. So if you think about if you're stressed out or you have things going on and you're constantly, chronically in this state of just going, sometimes we don't even realize it. This brings you back into homeostasis, which relaxes the nervous system, essentially freeing your energy up to where you have more energy because you're not bogged down with all these other things and these chronic conditions overburdening the nervous system that are running. You've actually freed yourself up. So through the relaxation of the energetic exchange here, you do have more energy because your nervous system's relaxing, if that makes sense, just from simplicity. So just for example, on the spinal program here, and I run it until it's done, it will say, certain areas have a degeneration concern, subluxation concern, different things like that, inflammation. And this works on the energetics that are starting to cause this later over time to materialize or manifest in the physical body. So when we do these energetic corrections, this is actually a form of preventing something later from happening because we're stopping that momentum of what it's saying is showing up. Inflammation, degeneration, subluxation. Yes, ma'am.
Does it help regenerate?
Yes.
Keep going?
Yes, yes. And I can actually work with frequencies that create regeneration, work on telomeres, stem cell. And so if you think about it from that perspective, this has a lot of regenerative therapies that are available, and they're very powerful. Very good. Yes.
Autoimmune disease,
Yeah.
does it pick up something like that?
Mm-hmm. If you're questioning that, or if
No,
you
have it.
yeah, and what we can do is work with the energies that are going to help you overcome that, rebalance the body where there's, indications of what's causing it, figure out what that is. If we're unaware of it, we can kind of navigate through where this is showing up and why. And sometimes it's an energetic pattern. Sometimes it's even generational. Figure out, where did this get passed down maybe? And it's all fed by the energetic loop. So if we can figure out that foundation, then we can work with it there, and that's the root, and that's what you want to do. Then the body can self-correct. Great question, thank you. How you feeling?
Great.
John, you feel any tingling or anything?
No, that's the one thing. You don't feel any of that. I don't feel like anything's happening.
Everybody's a little bit different. Some people, they're like, oh, I don't really feel a whole lot. Some people are like, wow, this is great. And, other people, that everybody has a different response to it. So the expectation is also going to be on what you're dealing with, why you're having this done, what you're looking for, but everybody is different on what they experience.
I like it.
Any other questions? Yes.
Are you familiar with Ibu?
Very different from Ibu.
Yeah.
Ibu, you're poking holes in your body and you're cleaning out the blood with ozone.
Right.
This is completely different.
But does it have the same effect?
Not really,
Not
because
really?
you're ozonating your blood. It's a very different effect.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely non-invasive.
And that's the biggest part. Non-invasive. That's the biggest part.
And it's geared to relax the body so the energy can go in and hone in on what the body's asking for in a relaxed state. So it's very therapeutic. And even better if you can fall asleep while you're having it done, because then the body's really relaxed and receiving the energy. Yes. So it's even better when people fall asleep, and they do.
And weirdly enough to say this, I actually have a ton of energy right now, but I could also fall right asleep. Like I could literally just sit back and probably drift right off right in front of all of you right now because I'm that relaxed, but I feel really good. So it's like a weird, it's a reboot, it's a reset. Mm-hmm. There's really no other way to explain it.
And if you're into natural remedies, you can infuse different types of energies like Bach remedies, different herbs, the frequencies of certain things. If you're into those and you're aware of frequencies and how they work with the body, that can be done with all of this too, as opposed to it just being something where we're trying to figure out what's going on, whether it's a pattern or specific to something you're aware of.
Is this like taking grounding to the next level?
This will ground you. Yes, it can ground you. And it does work with right frequencies too, if you're familiar with that. Absolutely. And typically when we get into those types of therapies specific, that is the session. So each session is really specific to the need of what's going on or the focus on, hey, what are we dealing with today? Is it a dental issue? So we'll go straight into a dental program, right? And hone in on what the body's asking for there. It just depends on what the focus is. Did you have a question?
Yeah, is it more like uplifted energy or euphoric or what is like?
Different for everyone.
Okay, so it's just gonna
Could be both.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be just he's ultra relaxed.
Yeah.
He could be like, wow, my energy just does feel euphoric. It could be I'm energized, or I just feel like I just mellowed out. Maybe the edge got taken off a little bit from a high stress individual or
Like having an event or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're gonna rest well tonight. After you get through today.
After I get through today, I sure will.
So we didn't do a whole bunch, but I think you guys get the idea. Now, what I'm going to do is go back through just based on the little things we did, and I'm going to retest his bar hope scores and see what improvements we got. These are real good indicators on, where we've made some progress.
What is this called?
Sorry.
What is this practice called?
It's quantum biofeedback. So if you think about traditional biofeedback, the communication between the body and the device, this is the same concept. However, what we're doing is we're going a little bit deeper. We're dealing with unconscious, subconscious, and superconscious. So we can work with those energetic patterns of what we may not be aware of instead of just training the body with what it needs with biofeedback communication. We're going on a deeper level with what it's available to do for you.
So like for like a non-believer, they'll go in there and be like, all right, you tell me what I have, and you're basically going to tell them what it's testing for, and they're going to be like, holy shit, you're not lying, because that's exactly what I have, right? So like people that aren't really like believing exactly what you're doing in the aspect, they're be like, well, you have troubles with this, and they're going to be like, oh shit, David, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful.
And it happens all the time.
Beautiful.
And it's great. I think it's great for people that need that confirmation.
Yeah.
And witness it for themselves. And it's like, wow, this could be something that's really great for me because how would you have known?
Exactly.
And,
100%.
absolutely.
And what do you charge hourly?
Thank you for
or
that.
do you charge?
It kind of depends on the situation, what we're dealing with, because it's not a cookie cutter type of always a certain way, depending on,
Sometimes it takes longer even.
It can, depending on the availability of how much the person can receive. Because again, everybody's got a threshold and it will indicate, this is where we need to stop today. That could be 30 minutes in, that could be an hour and 15 minutes in. It all depends.
Ask Angel.
Ask Angel.
My threshold was 30 minutes.
Oh, shit.
I don't even think it was that.
Barely that,
Yeah.
Machine
Fall
shut down.
asleep or your body just was like,
Shut down
I'm
the
done.
machine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She's really relaxed. Like, no stress over here.
No, it just
Yeah.
says I can't handle it anymore.
So just to give you guys actually just with a little bit of work that we did today, his bar hope scores went up from, his voltage went from 82 to 89, amperages 79 to 86, resistance went from 13 to 20, hydrogen went from 62 to 69, the oxygen went from 91 to 98, and so those are really good improvements just with the little bit that we did that. So now his body's got to deal with life and whatever else is going on to be more resilient to, what's coming up. Mm-hmm.
You will be able to keep up with these frequencies, like you said, like going back into real life. Like you kind of did the celery thing on him, but if he went back and ate celery, he could keep up with that momentum, energy that he just like put into his body.
That's going to help, but that's over time. It's like a lifestyle change.
Okay.
Now, something else might come up at a different time if he was to do another session based on what's going on real time for him then. Maybe what's going on in his life, what he's been exposed to, where he's been, environmental changes, people travel. So, for example, just so that makes sense, I have people that will say, I was just in the airport and they know that they got hit with radiation.
Mm.
And they'll call me and say, can you just do a quick cleanup? Because I know I've got exposed to radiation and I want that, cleared out of my field. Just that simple. Just things like that. So that radiation's not affecting them on a cellular level. Things like it. So it can be different all the time. And it just depends on life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are real body aware. They know, and they know what they need to get something put back into place. Right. Any other questions?
I know lately, if I've been flying, like you said, I don't go through the radiation machine. I ask for a pat down. And people think I'm crazy.
No, that's fine, but you're still exposed to radiation just by being there. You're just taking the extreme, like you're lessening the impact. Yeah, which is smart. Super smart. Yeah, you should. So with this, I can also create reports, share with you what you've done. Some people like to have that information. Some people just want to feel better. Everybody's got, different focus and what their interest is and what their level of understanding is as well about, what's going on. Some people just like to have the service for what they're dealing with. Some people want to watch the screen and everything that's going on behind the work. Thanks for having that done today.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm feel great.
Any other questions? No?
How do you do it on yourself?
All the time.
How often would you do it on yourself? All the time. What are you talking about? Like daily, be hooked up to me, just walking around with it.
I do it when I have the time, and I do it when I know I need it, or something comes up. For example, I broke my toes last year, and I worked on my foot a lot, for example. Just because I wanted to clean the cells up, I wanted to support my body, I wanted the nutrient there so my body could heal. There's just, different reasons to do it when things come up. So that would be an example of me doing it often.
Would you say a faster recovery doing that, or what did you notice from doing that?
Well, number one, the pain management. It's great for pain management, and it really hurt because it was 3 of my toes. It wasn't just one. Yeah, and I couldn't quit. I was actually competing in a show at the same time, and I wasn't going to quit. Just wasn't going to quit. So it was pain management. You can deal with, getting the bones to heal faster, the nutrient absorption of what you're doing physically. So it's doing a lot of like MSM, DMSO, things like that, in addition to the energetic therapy to support my body. But definitely taking the burden off the nervous system from the injury itself. Because when you're hurt and you've got pain, your nervous system's on. And that drains you from other reserves.
Yeah, I don't take pain pills, so that's something that I definitely.
Right, I don't either.
I don't take medicine or
Mm-hmm.
so it's just like more or less.
It's great for pain management. Really good. And from different reasons of, what you might be going through. Back pain. It's very good. But if the spinal program, if you can open up the energetic flow to your spine, that will help alleviate the pain right there too. Because things are moving. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for allowing me to present. I am going to be around if you have additional questions. Please feel free to ask me. We do have some brochures at the front if you'd just like to take some of those with you for reading.